Welcome along to the Bet Rivers Cricket Show. How's that? With me, Ed Hawkins, pro picker, joined as ever by John Wright, former odds compiler on cricket and pro picker himself. Now, how are you doing, John?
Yeah, not too bad, Ed. Not too bad at all. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. This is another World Cup special. More matches to come. 4 matches to come. This tournament is beginning to hot up now. We're going to have best picks for 4 games for you on this episode. We'll also have a look at the futures market and discuss who's going to make the top 4. Games for you to cover, though. Get your notebook out. There's Pakistan versus South Africa on Friday from Chennai. Australia versus New Zealand on Saturday, Dar es Salaam. Same game, same day as well. Bangladesh versus Netherlands from Kolkata. And then we're going to finish off India versus England on Sunday from Lucknow, which is a cracking game, but it could be too late for England. May well be out of the tournament by the time you give this a listen or give this a watch. John, do you want to pick up on some futures markets and maybe tell me whether the top 4 is all solved? I'll give you the Bet Rivers World Cup futures, the winner market for you each way. Place terms for you, half the odds the first 2, but India absolutely running away with it. The only unbeaten side left in it, plus 115 with Bet Rivers. South Africa next best, all the threes, plus 333. Australia plus 350. New Zealand plus 500. Those sides basically have got to win about 2 games of the last collection to get through to the top 4. Now it's just bonkers prices from there, John, isn't it? Really, I'm probably answering the question for you. England plus 2,800, Pakistan plus 5,000, and we'll stop there. It's talking telephone numbers, but any chance that India, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand don't make the top 4?
I don't think so. No, I mean, I think Australia now seem to have a little bit of impetus now, and I think you're going to struggle to get them out of the top 4. I think the only side really that possibly might not, looking at the fixtures to play, possibly might be New Zealand. I mean, New Zealand, they probably could need to win 2 more games. One of them's against Sri Lanka, which you'd expect them to win. They might be the side that's probably peaked a little bit too early. India look by far and away the best side in it. South Africa have had that one blip, haven't they? That one amazing blip when you actually look at it at face value now. Basically half a game against the Netherlands where their performance levels just dropped. When they had Netherlands 112 for 6, they would have been massive odds on to win that game. They let Netherlands get 2-4-5 and then couldn't chase it down. But if you actually take that result out of their profile of their games they've played, they've basically smashed everyone since then, before and after then. So I think South Africa and India it looks like it possibly could be a semi-final, that one, couldn't it? Australia definitely. I think it's Australia now will qualify. And I think it will just be the case of whether New Zealand do enough to get 2 more wins in their remaining fixtures to qualify. The rest of them are going to have to basically win all their games, aren't they, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, England were playing Sri Lanka as we go into production,
yeah.
And they have to win all their games. And even then, it may well come down to run rate, and you'll see there on the table, Australia boosted their net run rate superbly. South Africa's net run rate is superb. It just needs to be a major collapse in form from those top 4. I mean, Australia are probably going to make it. I think, as you said, John, New Zealand are the vulnerable team. But again, it could come down to net run rate. And it's important where these teams finish, of course. So first plays 4th in your semi-final, and then second plays 3rd. So everyone wants to avoid India, of course. Could it be a repeat of the 2019 semi-final when India meet New Zealand for a place in the final? Prices to reach the final: India minus 278 with Bet Rivers favourites, South Africa plus 100, Australia plus 135, New Zealand plus 150. Any value there, John?
No, not really. As I say, I think there's a bit of a 2-tier table at the moment, and I think it'll probably stay that way. It'll be interesting, as you say, with the sides jockeying who they want to play in the semi-finals. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I suppose you're looking at sides like England and Pakistan are going to have to win all their fixtures, and they could come with a rally and get into the semi-final berth, and then you probably want to be with them. But it's hard to see at the moment. As you say, you can pick holes in the league table. Doesn't lie, doesn't it, Ed? Really, I mean, what we've seen so far. I mean, the 4 teams at the top should be there. It's just a question for me whether New Zealand have probably peaked a little bit too early, and they've got a very, very crucial game, an Anzac game coming up against. We're probably going to talk about in a minute when they play New Zealand at Dar es Salaam. So I think that'll be a very, very crucial game because, as I say, if Australia win that, then New Zealand are probably they're going to have to beat Sri Lanka and probably maybe even win another game.
Yeah. Let's get the games on then for you for Bet Rivers. We're going to go through 4. We'll give you the best picks for each of those 4 games as we go. So not all coming at a rush at the end. Let's deal with Pakistan versus South Africa on the Friday. It's from Chennai. It's plus 160 Pakistan on the money line with Bet Rivers. South Africa are minus 200. Now, could the pitch be a fantastic leveler here for Pakistan? 3 out of 4 have been won by the chaser. We do think dew is important. The bowlers are struggling to grip that ball, John, for the team who has to defend a total because the dew's coming in, the lights are on, the ball's slippery, and the bowlers don't have the same accuracy. There's also a tacky pitch as well, which may not suit South Africa. I've also got a note here. First note, highest individual score under 96.5 with Bet Rivers, minus 115. Pakistan, there's problems in the camp, John. We never thought they'd have a good tournament because of the stuff going on off the field, but they've got to win. Do they win here?
I don't think they do. I mean, the one thing they've got in their favour, I suppose, is the fact that they played at the venue recently, and they've probably got nightmares of it because they lost to Afghanistan here, didn't they? And as you say, it's a difficult pitch to read because in that game, I mean, as I say, the bowling at the start seemed to go around the park, but when the spinners came on, they seemed to sort of lock it down a little bit. And as I say, in that game, Afghanistan had 4 spinners. They picked 4 frontline spinners, and they seemed to sort of, they got Pakistan after Pakistan got quite a good start. They kept it very, very tight. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens here. I'd imagine probably Shamsi might play. Shamsi and Maharaj might play for South Africa, but I think with Pakistan at the moment, it's just very, very hard. They just look a little bit shot after that Afghanistan result, don't they?
Yeah, I suggest if you're going to be back in Pakistan in this game, only do so if the toss goes their way. So they've got a chase, I think, for me. But there's loads of value on the Bet Rivers lines. Go and check it out online. Got so many potential bets here, John, beginning with Kutsa, the South African pacer, plus 300 top wicket taker. He's returned in 7 of his 10, which is an incredible record. He's plus 100 for over 1.5 wickets, which is kind of the coward's way out, I suppose, rather than going for the bigger price. He's also plus 170 in the bowler match bet to beat Hassan and his teammate Janssen. I think that's a great bet. However, perhaps the best pick of all is Maharaj to beat Osama Mir in a bowler match bet. Maharaj is minus 118. Bet Rivers can't split these two. I can. I think Osama Mir is a village cricketer. I don't know what he's doing in the World Cup. He's been absolutely dreadful. Yeah, he may not even play. He may not even play.
He bowled appalling, didn't he? Okay, you could argue that there was probably, bowling second. There might have been a bit of a due factor against Afghanistan, but he bowled terrible. I mean, as I say, I mean, the Afghanistan batsmen were never in any trouble with him whatsoever. So yeah, I think that's a bit of a mismatch there, definitely. And also, I mean, the thing with South Africa at the moment, if you look at the runs, I mean, I was looking at England today. England have only got 2 players that have scored 100 runs in this tournament. South Africa have got 6 players have scored over 100 runs in this tournament, and 3 of them have scored over 250 runs in this tournament. And Quinton de Kock's got over 400 runs in this tournament. So, I mean, batting's not a problem. They bat a long way down. I was worried about, Janssen coming in at 7. I thought that was a spot too early for him at the start of the tournament, but he's good for runs. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a Sean Pollock, but I think he could end up being a fairly decent all-rounder in most formats of cricket. So yeah, I think going through to the back end of the tournament, it's probably going to be their bowling that probably lets them down, South Africa. But I do think that they've definitely got back on the horse after losing to that shock result against Netherlands, and they've been emphatic in their 4 victories, haven't they? They've won them. They've won them very, very convincingly. And I just think scoreboard pressure. If Pakistan let South Africa get a big score, I think the pressure will get to Pakistan to chase anything down. I don't know what you think yourself, Ed.
Do you think you've got a pick for this game, John? I think you want to stick up.
Well, I think that with the batsmen, Quinton de Kock's very, very short at 275, but he's got 3 centuries. But as I say, Rassie's got century. Klassen's they're all in the runs, aren't they? So it's hard to know whether there's any value with the batting. I mean, I've been with Pakistan. I've been very, very impressed with Shafiq at the top of the order. I think I know Rizwan and Barber are your first 2 in the betting, but I've been very impressed with Shafiq. I think he looks very, very solid out of the 2 openers. I'll be tempted to back him at plus 350 and hope that Pakistan get off to a good start. And then the likes of Rizwan and Barber can post a big score, because I think that's the only way Pakistan are going to actually win this game. They're probably going to need to get something in the region of 300, aren't they, Ed? So I'd be looking at Shafiq at plus 350 would be my bet for top Pakistan bat. As I say, with South Africa, I just think there's a case for everyone, really. I mean, David Miller looks a very, very big price at plus 800, but he might not get a batting at where he comes in at 5 or 6.
He may not. There you go. Pakistan versus South Africa is a cracker on Friday from Chennai. Because we win, give us a follow on X, formerly known as Twitter, so you can win across all sports, please. And give John Wright a follow at John Wright15 and myself at Cricket Betting. We're here throughout this World Cup, and we've been going great guns so far. Quinton de Kock, mentioned earlier by John, is our pick for top run scorer in the tournament. South Africa, our pick for highest team total in the tournament. I don't think anyone's going to beat their 4-8. So we've got winners in our pockets, we think. We've got more to come on this show. Give us some love on the podcast provider of your choice. Games to come. Australia versus New Zealand coming up now. Then we've got Bangladesh versus Netherlands. And then we're going to finish with that England versus India game from Look Now. Australia versus New Zealand Saturday. Dharam Salah, minus 152 Australia. New Zealand, plus 120. Bet Rivers money line for you. Dharam Salah bowlers are in the game here. New Zealand beaten there by India last time out. Posting 273 wasn't quite enough. But they could have got 320, perhaps, if they'd come up against a side which weren't so expert at the death as India. Australia won 3-0 in the head-to-head at home for Australia, ODI series in 2022 rather. Century and a 50 for Steve Smith. So I'm going to kick us off with Smith runs. Overs around about 38.5, we think, with Bet Rivers at plus 100. John, do the money line for me first, and I'll ask you for derivatives.
I think what you mentioned at the start of this, Ed, it's the head-to-head, isn't it? I mean, Australia's head-to-head over New Zealand over the last couple of years is they've got a very, very strong head-to-head. They've dominated this fixture. I noticed another stat there on a neutral venue. That last 19 times they've played, New Zealand have only won once. So I just think the impetus is with Australia now. I mean, Australia have absolutely hammered the Netherlands today. Okay, it's only the Netherlands, but they've got Warner's in form, Maxwell's in form. They've probably got Travis Head to come into this side, which I think will give it even more power, because Travis Head will open the batting with Davey Warner. That means that Mitch Marsh will probably bat at 3, which will be probably more favourable for him. They'll probably leave out Marnus Labuschagne and Smith at 4. They bat a long way down. Zampa's bowling very well. I mean, I think we said at the beginning of the tournament we were worried him being the only frontline spinner, but he's definitely come to the party in the last couple of games. He's got 4 for again today, so he's got it coming out really well. And also, with the wicketkeeper, I mean, everyone thought that we're dropping Carey and Inglis in the side, but it hasn't really bothered them. I think Australia, like they always do, when they drop a wicketkeeper, they usually let the replacement have a run in the side, and they've done that with Josh Inglis. I like I do really like Australia to win this fixture. New Zealand have been very impressive throughout the tournament. But I think when they came up against India, you saw their vulnerability. I mean, against India there, they was in a position to get over 300 runs. They had Daryl Mitchell set at the crease over 100. India still had 8 rovers to bowl, but they stuttered very, very badly, only to get 280, and that wasn't enough. India knocked it off very, 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 very easily. So I just think that with New Zealand, I think they probably just, they've peaked a little bit too early. This is probably a fixture that they'll be looking to sort of be competitive in. But as I say, I think Australia, with their impetus at the moment, I think Australia will win this. And then it's going to be down to the whether New Zealand get a result in the other fixtures.
Yeah, Warner and Zampa mentioned there by John are your most likely winners in the last 2 years. They've got the best percentage returns rate on top bat and top bowler, respectively. A word on Trent Boult, who's not done the business yet for top bowler and came into this tournament with an incredible record, but hasn't won yet or even returned yet. He's hugely overdue a win, and he was top wicket taker in that head-to-head series that we mentioned previously. So John's best pick is Australia to win the game. I'm going to stick with that Steve Smith, who looks in good touch. Runs over 38.5, and we may have a look at that bulk price around about plus 275 top bowler if we can get it. 2 more games to come. Let's deal with Bangladesh versus Netherlands Saturday, Eden Gardens, Bet Rivers money line, plus 200 Netherlands, minus 250 Bangladesh. Eden Gardens expected to be good for batting, so there's no real leveler here in terms of the pitch. And I'm talking about a leveler helping out Bangladesh, by the way. I'm very much against Bangladesh in this game. I think they may well have checked out. Tournament's gone for them. Semi-final chances mathematically still alive, but it's not going to happen. John, the Netherlands for you, I know they've been taking a beating against Australia, but I don't think that's going to faze them, is it? Then they'll be thinking this is a game they win.
I agree what you said there, Ed. These 2 sides are effectively out of the tournament. They're both in terrible form. They're both, they've been. I mean, I know we tipped up Afghanistan to beat Bangladesh in the first game of the tournament. I mean, and Bangladesh beat Afghanistan, but they've done nothing since. As you said, there seems to be a little bit of problems in the camp. The fact that Shakib El Hassam has actually gone home to do some
incredible.
Yeah, he's gone home to do some training with his personal trainer in the middle of a World Cup. It's absolutely bizarre. He said he's going to be back at Eden Gardens before the game and he'll be fit for the remainder of the tournament. But surely that sends terrible message for the rest of the team. So you're right, Ed. I mean, if I was forced to have a bet in this, I'd be definitely backing Netherlands at plus 200, because I just think that in effectively a dead rubber, I just think they've got more desire than Bangladesh. I really do. I think Bangladesh seem to be a little bit all over the place. So I wouldn't put you off them. The only worry with Netherlands is that if you look at their runs, they don't get any runs, do they? And they've been absolutely smashed, apart from that South Africa game when they got runs from the tail. I mean, basically, 9 Jack got the runs and they end up getting 2, 4, 5. Apart from Scott Edwards, no one's really got any runs for them, really. So that's been their downfall. So, but as I say, at the prices, if you force me to have a bet, the 2 bets I'm probably looking to have on this game would be Netherlands to win the game. And for Bangladesh, I would, definitely, obviously, skip Shakib Al Hassam as top bat. I'd definitely go for the guy that got 100 in the last game, Mohammadullah. I think he'd be value at anything like plus 350, maybe even plus 400.
Okie doke. Edwards and Van Beek, batter and bowler to follow on those win rates for the Dutch. Mahmood and Shakib Al Hassan, your bowler and bat to follow on your win rates. These are last 2 years' figures, by the way, for Bangladesh, although I wouldn't be backing Shakib at the moment, given he's gone off for a bit of a holiday. There we go. That's Bangladesh versus Netherlands. John and I both agreeing on Netherlands are the bet there. Purely down to desire, we think. Right, 1 more game to go. We've got India versus England. As we said, England could well be knocked out of the tournament by the time they've played this game. It's from look now on Sunday, minus 190. India plus 150. England. John, what's the winner going to be in this game?
Well, where do we go with England? Where do we go with England, Ed? I mean, we've been very, very critical on this show throughout the tournament. I mean, that will really hit a low point on Saturday, didn't they? First of all, the side. I mean, England seemed to sort of drop all their all-rounders. They had David Willey coming in at number 7. The balance of the side was totally wrong, bearing in mind that Stokes is not fit. So effectively, you're basically playing with 5 batters. Out of those 5 batters, there's only two batters in that side that have got over 100 runs in the tournament so far. That's Joe Root and David Malan. Brooks got a score. Butler hasn't even got a 50 in this tournament yet after 4 games. I know we're talking before the Sri Lanka. He might get runs against Sri Lanka in the fixture coming up tomorrow. But England look a shambles. And I think, personally, even if England do get a result against Sri Lanka, I think India will win this game. It's at look now.
It's the worst venue for England, isn't it? That England need an absolute road, and they're not going to get one at look now. It's going to spin. It's going to be tacky. Scores of 262 and 209. The pitch seems to be slowing up. Yeah, it's just the worst place.
I mean, Ravi Ashwin played in the first game of the tournament, didn't he, against Australia? Hasn't seen him since. I think he's absolutely nailed on to. I mean, the fact that Hardik Pandya is still going to be out, he's got ligament trouble. I think that Ashwin will come in, and they'll probably leave out Shami, who's probably a bit unlucky because he got a 5 for in the last game. And that's how strong the Indian squad is. I would imagine they'll probably leave out Sky, maybe bring in Ashwin, which probably strengthens the batting because Ashwin at 8 instead of Shami probably strengthens their batting a little bit. But I expect Ashwin to bowl well against India because I think it will turn. England batsmen, if you look at them, there's apart from Joe Root they're not brilliant with spin. You're right, Ed. They needed a Delhi, didn't they? They needed a road somewhere where they could probably get 300. But I can't see it. I think India will win this game. I think minus 190, even before the England game against Sri Lanka. I think's value. I think India. I think you've got every chance of India going through this whole tournament without losing a game.
Yeah, agree with that. I've got a note about Jadeja, Kuldeep man of the match prices to check out with Bet Rivers. Do so by adding Ashwin as well after John's talked him up. Butler and Rashid, your batter and bowler to follow on the top batsman and wicket taker respectively on win rates in the last 2 years, providing you're getting more than plus 400 on Butler. He may well have won by the time you've listened to this. So if he has, we'll leave him alone. Big bet for me is Gill, plus 300, hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe plus 275 with Bet Rivers top India run scorer. Well overdue a win on that one, and that'd be my top pick. Any other business, John?
No, I think England will probably bring Moeen Ali into the side, maybe even Liam Livingstone as well. I mean, obviously Topley's out, which I think is a big loss for England as well. So probably they'll be forced to bring. I imagine they'll probably be forced to bring Chris Wokes back into the side, who's bowled poorly throughout the tournament. They've got Cass, haven't they, as the replacement. I don't think he's going to be ready to go for. Definitely won't be ready to go for Sri Lanka. He might play in this game, but I expect England are going to have to go with at least 2 spinners, aren't they, Ed? I mean, Dilly Rashid will definitely play, and it'll be a case of whether they go with Moeen Ali, Liam Livingstone, or both. But the fact that they didn't go with any batting all-rounders in that last game against South Africa and had David Willey coming in at 7, I don't think they'll do that again, because if you actually look at the face of it, if it wasn't for the fact that Gus Atkinson and Mark Wood got 40-odd and 30-odd between them, I mean, England would have been even more embarrassing, wouldn't it, Ed? I mean, the batters haven't got the runs, have they, Ed? Really, none of them. No. So, I want to be with India here. I think you're right. England could be out if they don't beat Sri Lanka before this game. But I think even if they do beat Sri Lanka, I still think India will win this game. So, to me, 190 would be my bet of the game. And maybe Ravi Ashwin, top bowler, around about plus 400, probably 450.
There you go. India marching on to glory. Can anybody stop them in this World Cup? I tell you what, if we do see something which suggests they're going to trip up or stumble in this tournament, we will let you know on the Bet Rivers Cricket Show. How's that? We're covering it as closely as we can. We're doing all the stats and analysis away from live recordings to make sure we don't miss a trick. Come back next time. More matches coming up throughout the tournament. We'll be here for all the big ones. We'll see you next time.